as quickly as you can.
Oh, there it is! Yeah! It's the mother load, I tell you, hey! Well, hey, everybody. Jeff Williams here with ShitWilliams.com! Yeah, I know! Woohoo! What are we doing today? Come here, take a look at this. Now, where are we? Okay, we're at the southern end of Death Valley at Salt Springs. Why are we here? Because this is a very important place. They found some very, very rich gold ore here. Native gold. I mean chunks of it. And why? Because of the geology. Do you see that? I'll give you a breakdown of it real quick. This is an intrusion-related deposit. So you have a granitic mass, usually in the form of a pluton, forcing its way up, coming in contact with limestone. Remember I told you about that? And where it's come in contact, it's actually changed the limestone into a metamorphic rock. Remember I told you about that? You got hornfels, which is nothing more than baked mud. And then of course you got skarns. Remember I told you that gold-bearing skarns can be very rich. And a lot of it was mostly up on the surface. The veins are not very deep, maybe 120 feet deep. And look at this. They were pulling out $2,500 per ton. Woo! At $20 an ounce. Oh my gosh. I tell you what, if I found gold ore that rich, I'd be living up here too forever today. Anyway, there's a long history behind this place, and I'm going to leave a link down below so that you can see it. And we're going to head on up there so you could take a look at it. So you know what I'm going to say, huh? So come on, let's go. All right, let me turn that off. Okay. Now this is what I wanted you to see. See this? What is that? That's limestone. See that nasty gray limestone in there? Yeah, you should know what that looks like. And see this? All this nice green. Remember I told you green's important, and I know I need to cover that. Anyway, this is that slaty shale. And remember we seen that at a lot of other places. I've been to a lot of mines where you get the slaty shale up against like some type of a granite deposit or granite diorite, porphyry granite. So you see a lot of that in these gold producing districts. So anyway, this is that shale. You got slaty shale, and I've actually found gold in this. And then look at this. See how you got these red pockets like that? See that? Ooh, that looks nice. I'm gonna bring some of that out and sample it. And wherever you have these contact zones of granite up against the limestone, a lot of times, like I said, the change, the metamorphic rock that's created is a skarn. Now there's all types of different skarns out there, but the one we're worried about is gold-bearing skarn. And whenever you see reds like that, I definitely sample it. Use a VLF, because the gold out here was on the surface. It was really close, and it was really chunky too, and really rich, but it played out really fast. That's common. And you can see some more of this limestone right here. See how loose that is though? And here's some more of that granite. See that? Limestone, granite. And remember that. That's what you see a lot on those intrusion-related deposits. Where you get that intrusion, if you have any gold inside of the solutions and the steams inside that pluton, what will happen is that the limestone will change the pH balance. And then what will happen is the gold will start to drop out of solution. And at the contact zones, a recrystallization process of metamorphism. And so then you're going to get a layer of skarn there at the contact. So we're going to head up on the hill where the big work was. But I always tell people, make sure you check all your prospect pits and all your little tiny tunnels like this, because they could have been just mere inches away from the mother lode. So we're going to head up on the hill, get some more samples, and then I'm going to see if there's any gold in it. So come on, let's go. Look at that. Look at that. Here's the mill. You know a mine's rich if it's got its own mill. Take a look at this. Woo, look at the size of those timbers. How do you think they got them up here? That's just crazy. Anyway, they were processing the gold ore out of here because it was so fabulously rich. And then they were working down here in the washes. You see huge piles of gravel down there. And it looks like they brought a trowel in, because I've never seen a dry washer big enough to do that. But yeah, all the gold was washing out. And that's how they found this place originally, is they were coming through this canyon here. And you can see the granite down there. See all the aplite down in there running through it? And they sampled it while they were staying here overnight. And that's what somebody said, I found me some pea-sized gold. in the wash. They got all excited about it, and they ran around the hills here, and they noticed these very, very rich outcroppings of native gold. So anyway, I thought I'd come around here and show it to you, because this is something that you don't get to see a lot of, and I'm going to take samples too. Ooh, this must be the... Here, come here, take a look at this. I want to show you something real quick. Now, see this? This is what's left of a trestle. What they would do is they would build these trestles way out into the middle of nowhere. Then they would slowly dump the rock, and that's how they'd get it out away from the mine. And then that's how you see these big, nice, flat piles, what some people call tailings, but they're not. They're called mine dumps. And the way they got them out here was these trestles. And buried inside of all this is a whole bunch more of these. That's how they built these big bridges, and then they could just keep dumping and dumping and dumping, and they start another one and another one. So anyway, see this? Look at that. Isn't that some nice granite? It almost looks like granite diorite, which is a mixture of granite and diorite. But I don't think it's got enough hornblende in it to make it that. So anyway, it does have a lot of hornblende. That's what that black stuff is. So there's something, oh, anyway, look at this. Come here, take a look. See this? I know, don't fall in. Whoa, whoa, whoa. I know, right? This looks like one of the main shafts right here. How do I know? Because look, I got a perfect path all the way down to the mill on a downhill grade, which means they hoist it up, and then it basically will travel down there by itself to the stamp mill. And judging by the size of it, I'm pretty sure this was the main one. Now, come here, I want you to see this. Look at this. See this? This must have got accidentally put into the waste rock. See all that red material? Remember I told you red Skarn? Now, I got to emphasize something real quick, okay? Because I know a lot of you might be confused, but Skarn is not the same as limonite. Remember that. Not all red material is the same. Limonite is usually a byproduct of sulfides that have oxidized out the sulfur, usually in the form of sulfur dioxide or sulfuric acid, something like that, and left behind iron oxide and gold, if there's any gold in it. And of course, it's all boxy looking, so they call it boxworks. This is Skarn. This is a totally different animal. They both can have gold in them, but they're totally different. So don't see, if you see red, that, oh, that's limonite or that's Skarn. No, you have to know what it is. So I just wanted to emphasize that, because some people will see a Gossan and think it's Skarn. No, it's not. So I just wanted to reiterate that. Anyway, you can see where somebody else has come out here and they figured out what I figured out. That's right. That's what they were digging up. It's all ours, Blondie. It's all ours. So what I'm going to do, I know. What I'm going to do is I'm going to dig this out, and I'm going to see if there's any more down in there. I'm going to put it in my bag and we'll crush it. Now, this is the wash right here that they were finding those chunky pieces of gold about the size of a pea. And that's when they came up here, and then they saw all this intrusion related veins in here. And then of course you can see where they were living up on the hill. We're going to go up there too. And you can see some more diggings up there. I see some beautiful red material up there. So I'm going to go around, I'm going to sample everything while I'm here, because this is beautiful stuff. And I know there's gold in there because it was fabulously rich. Woo-wee, I tell you what. And then later on, if you're real good, I'm going to tell you the story of the Amargosa mine, the real Amargosa mine, which is about 2 miles from where we're sitting, and it was a fabulously rich placer mine. And I might even tell you where it's at, but don't try to go there because it's in the middle of nowhere and you have to walk to get in. So let me dig this up, and you can, I can't use you because there's too many bullets here, so come on, let's go! Wow, look at that. You imagine living out here? Woo-wee. It don't seem like much now, but just imagine back in the 1850s, like 1849, 1850. The biggest problem you're going to have out here is bands of roving Indians, renegade Indians that don't like you too much. Trust me, I wouldn't like the white man either for coming over here. So what happened is there's a story behind that too, as a matter of fact. Not far from here, there was 3 miners that were staying here to oversee the mine when buyers were shifting hands or trading hands on this mine. So they kept 3 miners out here. Gordon, Plate, and Cook were their last names. And Indians came in here and they saw the white men, and of course they didn't like the white men being in their land, so they killed Cook outright. And the other ones, Gordon and Plate, they got real scared. And I would be too, you know, because you don't know what they're going to do to you. And so they took off, headed west on the other side of this mountain. And they started running for their lives. Run to the hills! And anyway, they ran so far out there thinking they were getting away from the Indians, but you know what they forgot about? That's right, they didn't bring any water with them. And they started to go insane because they couldn't come back here and there was no water out there. So they figured the only way out was to put a bullet in their head, and that's what happened. They killed themselves. So anyway, I'm just letting you know that it might look peaceful out here right now, but back then it was a hostile land. And I wouldn't be walking around here with just a VLF. I'd have more than just a 6-gun. I'd have a rifle too. So anyway, I just wanted to give you a history of this place. So, and like I said, we're gonna head on up there to the cabins, take a look around, and there's some more diggings up behind there. And you can see a lot of the stuff there. See the stove? There's a stove over there, water tank. There's a bed frame right there. You see that? And there's water tanks. Of course, you gotta have water. There's another little stove down there and all kinds of stuff. That looks like their privy or their outhouse right over there. So we're gonna take a look around because I love this kind of stuff. And I know there's still some gold here. Probably not a lot, but there's still some. And I gotta have every piece of it, son. So you know what I'm gonna say? That's right. I'm gonna say, so come on, let's go. Ooh, look at this thing. Man, this thing is huge. Wow. All right, what am I looking at? Well, this is the Amargosa house and office. And it was built in about 1850 to 1852. And legend has it that this is probably the oldest structure in all of Death Valley. That's pretty darn old if you ask me. Look at this thing. This must have been the front porch right here. See that? And it goes along. You can see the fireplace at the very end. They have windows on both sides. And then, of course, there's another door at the very end. And it had a concrete floor, too. It was pretty sophisticated. But, of course, now you can see that it's nothing but a pile of rocks. But back in 1950, there was photographs of it. I'll see if I can find them and put them down below, where it still had the wooden roof on it. Man, this was a nice-looking building back then. Well, of course, you get knuckleheads out here that like to tear stuff up and burn stuff up. Look at this. This is what I'm talking about. Look at this. See this? All this was inside. You got a stove and water pipes and beds and all kinds of stuff that was in there. And, of course, some knucklehead probably burned this thing to the ground. And then they had to take it all out and throw it over the hill here and get rid of it. I don't know why people got to do that. That looks like the privy. Why can't they just leave history alone? I don't know. That just makes me mad. I'll tell you what. When people go through and burn stuff up and tear it up just for fun. Don't understand that. Not one bit. Don't they realize this will be gone forever? I guess they don't care. So, all right. Now that I'm done ranting and raving about that, huh? Yeah, I know. I wanted you to see the cabin, and this is the oldest structure. I'll walk around the side, give you a first-hand look. This is the oldest structure in Death Valley. We're at the very southern end of the Death Valley. Don't be coming out here in summertime, you hear? Whoo, man, you want hot. That's hotter than any hot I could ever take. I don't know how these people did it. And they didn't even have air conditioning. How did they do that? They probably lived down in the mines. That's what I would have done. All right, so I'm going to take you around the side and show you that, and then we're going to sample some more. And then we're going to get on out of here, and I'll tell you that story that I promised you. Remember, I said that the real mine was over there. Nobody knows that but me and Slim. So come on, let's go. Ooh, look at that. Look at that fireplace. Imagine if that thing could talk, the stories it would tell. The brutal, hard winters out here. Because it gets mighty cold out here, really cold. See that fireplace? Now, I'm not even going to run my metal detector out here because there's so many nails out here it would drive me batty. Battier than I am. Now, look at this. I don't know what happened here, but it looks like there was a mine underneath the cabin. Maybe they built the cabin on top of the mine, or maybe they dug it later. Maybe somebody dug this afterwards. I don't know. But you can see right here, they dug in here, and this is what they were following right here. See that? See that nice red material? And I got some blacks in there, which is usually manganese oxide. That's always a nice mix. So it looks like they dug up underneath here, and I don't know when. And it's got an interesting shape. It's like a long hallway. See that? And here's the front door. I thought the other one was, but this is the front door. How'd you like to have that for a view in the morning? Come out with your coffee and... Yeah, so I got me a fabulously rich gold mine that's producing $2,500 a ton. Yahoo! I had to do that. Look at this. They have windows. They had a nice floor in here too. These look like some really big size windows right here. You see that? And they had them framed up with glass too. And you can see where they brought in concrete. That way they could frame it up nice and square and it'd be solid in there too. But it looks like this was a really nice structure back in the day, over 100 years ago. I still don't know how they did it, living out here in the harsh environments. And look, here's some pieces of the rafter right here. You see that? There's a piece right there, that piece of wood. And a piece right here, that was for the roofing. You can see it where it ran all the way across over to here. The joist for the roof. Anyway, and then of course somebody had to come through and burn it. Never understood that. Why do people gotta burn everything? Never would understand that. So, all right, we're gonna get on out of here. I'm gonna take some more samples and then I'm gonna tell you the story that you're waiting to hear. So, come on. Let's go. Woo! Wow, look at this. Now, right behind the office slash house over here, the Amargosa house, is a series of mines. And I brought you over here for a reason, because I wanted you to see this. Take a look at this. I'll put this right here, because I don't want to break it. All right. Anybody at home? Woo! Look at that. That's a good look. Oh, I don't know if I want to mess with that. There's some wasp nests in there. Okay, now, what did I want to show you? Look at this. See this? That's limestone. You see that? Big old hard, nasty limestone. See this? That's that decomposing granite. You see what I see? That's right. Look at these colors. See that? Blacks, reds, dark browns. This is what you need to be looking for. See that? This is some beautiful, beautiful looking skarn. And so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna chip this out. And I'll see if there's any, oh, take a look at this. Look at that. See that? This is always a good sign. What is that? See that chrysocolla in there? That's from the copper family. I always say that you have a lot of your porphyry copper deposits that produce gold and your skarn deposits. Anyway, whenever you get copper in the mix, that's always a good sign. So, I'm definitely gonna be sampling this. And you can see where they stoked the heck out of this. Look at this. I hope nobody's in here. Because I didn't bring my lantern. Wow, look at that. They stoked the heck out of it. I got rooms and chambers all back in there. And look at this. I got this beautiful looking skarn right there. See that? Ooh, and look, I got all that chrysocolla right here. There's a whole seam of it right here. See that? And there's some more right there. Let's see if I can. See that? That's some pretty looking chrysocolla. Yeah. So what I do is I'll sample some of this stuff back here because they were following it and see where they stoked. I got a whole bunch of wasp nests in there too. You gotta be careful with that. And of course I got some nice reds and blacks up in there. And I'll sample that too. So this is what I want you to see. I want you to understand this. And you know the weird thing about all this is I tried looking this mine up on the MRDS report. It don't exist. I tried looking it up on Land Matters. It don't exist. Why doesn't it exist? Are they trying to hide it? Or did they forget about it? I don't know. But I know that I know where it's at. And now you know where it's at too. And now you know what to sample. So let me get some of this stuff out and I'll put it in my sample bag. And then, of course, I'll crush it up and sample. And then we'll go back down to the other mines. And oh, that's heavy. This is what I wanted to show you. See that? You're going to see these, or this, in a lot of your intrusion-related deposits that have to deal with gold-bearing skarns. What is it? Bog iron. It's almost 100% iron. It's nothing but iron. See, that's solid iron. And if you remember some of my earlier videos where we're digging out a lot of these intrusion-related deposits, a lot of skarn, you find large, thick bands of that bog iron. And when you do, you know you're onto a winner. Now, in my years of experience, I found that the best gold is where the vein has a steep dip, and then it has a shallow dip, and then a steep dip. Where the vein has that shallow dip, you're gonna see huge chunks of gold that have formed in there. I know it doesn't make sense, but it'll actually redeposit in there, and you'll find large chunky masses and even wire gold in there. But you want to look for that, and of course, you're looking for that dull green talc, and of course, copper carbonates are really good too, that you saw down there. So I want you to see this, and if you come out here, I want you to sample. But I'm gonna take it back to the house, and I'm gonna crush it all up, pan it out, and show you what I got. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed today's quick episode out here at the Amargosa mine. And if you love today's episode, please rate, share, and subscribe. And of course, leave me, Slim, and Nevada Jack comment, because we like to know what to think about all this craziness out here. Woo. So until next time, this is Jeff Williams, and who? That's right, a bag full of Skarn. With some gold, I hope. That's who. Saying, you want a lot of gold, but the detector's in the closet? Well, get out of here. You'll find gold in an intrusion-related deposit. Take care, everybody. I know, you're thinking, Jeff, you didn't tell us about the story. I know. So here's the story. Remember Charles Brayfogle and the fabulously rich mine he found? Well, supposedly the original Amargosa mine and that mine are the same mine. And you're probably wondering, where's that? You and about 1 million other people. Well, here's what I want you to do. That mine is about 2 miles from where I'm sitting. It's a rich placer deposit. Not a lot of people know about it. But I want you to, it's in the vicinity of this mine that I'm about to tell you. I want you to go on MRDS, and I want you to find this spot. This is Salt Springs Mine, Amargosa mine, and it's in between Baker and Tacopa. And if you go due east from here, you're going to see the Lucky Gem mine, and it's really close to that one. Now there's another secret too. If you go directly west from here, about 2 miles, you're going to have the Amargosa placer field. Not a lot of people know about it, but you'll see it on the MRDS. Now that's the most I can tell you without getting in trouble with Slim. But I just wanted you to know that there are other deposits close to here, and if you do the research on here, you'll see that they were actually hauling in the placer dirt from that mine here because there's an actual spring here they could actually wash the material in instead of working it up there. So that's the story, and that was in the early 1850s. So anyway, I'm gonna get on out of here. I'm exhausted. I got all this stuff to show. Later on, I'm gonna crush it up. If I find any gold in it, I'm gonna leave a snapshot at the end, okay? So if you got questions, leave a comment below. Whew, but I gotta get some water. I gotta head back to town. And that's a good, 100 miles. So I better start going because Slim's gonna be mad. So you know what I'm gonna say, huh? So I don't gotta say it. But I'll say it anyway. So come on, Mr. Bag, let's go.
Rawhide. Cut 'em out. Right 'em in. Cut 'em out. Right 'em in.